Ryan, the warm-up that's coming our way over the next couple of days is kind of a classic summer spike in heat for us, the way it's about to happen. What we're going to see build in over the next few days out here over the Four Corners is a center of high pressure that's just going to typically sit right over the Four Corners region, but expand a little bit and start reaching over towards us. So we've got this big pile of heavy air out here, which is pushing down on the ground and now spreading out, and that heat is going to be able to expand out towards us. You want a visualization for that. You can see what the color temperatures look like on here. Watch the big red blister out here just kind of grow right where we were looking at that center of high pressure, and you can see how this starts creeping over towards us. This is why our map starts looking like we get into those deep shades of red here. We looked at the temperatures at the top of the newscast. We're going to do it again because I want to walk you through Thursday and Friday so you can see the improvement for Friday. But there's one other element to this story. What that center of high pressure is going to do out here, and remember, as this thing sits out here, it is spinning the atmosphere around. So you've got everything that's kind of coming around this way and getting rotated towards us. And out here this time of year, in addition to the heat, there's also a lot of moisture available in the atmosphere. And when we look from high up above, down at the U.S., these thunderstorms, which have been developing out here for the last 6 hours, can you see how they're getting pulled into that flow? Everything's kind of getting pulled around this way and directed towards us. I don't have thunderstorms in our forecast. But what we are going to notice by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon is we're going to start to see an increase in clouds, and we're likely also going to feel a subtle increase in humidity. And that's going to impact the way it feels as you start to go about your day outside. So with a little bit more humidity and a little bit more in the way of cloud cover, if we just watch the flow in the atmosphere here on the virtual set, here's what it's going to look like in terms of that shield of clouds coming our way, getting pulled up from the desert southwest. Now, this is tomorrow afternoon. I don't think you notice much in the way of clouds, but it builds overnight. And now Thursday night, going into Friday morning, we've got a thick blanket of mid and high level clouds, which we very rarely ever have here. That impacts temperatures in a way you might not think about it because we've got a blanket overhead at night. So after we do that warm up tomorrow, and we'll get to those numbers again in a second, we're not going to get as much of a chance to cool down for Friday morning because of those clouds. And that's why Friday has now been included in the heat advisory. That was allowed to extend so that now we're talking about the possibility and the need for a heat advisory for the inland parts of the bay as we get into Friday. We'll say goodbye to our map if it wants to go. And let me show you what this looks like now from the temperature standpoint. Real quick, here's your review on daytime highs for tomorrow. This is the peak of the heat, so I'll get out of the way and you can pick out your part of the bay. And then we're going to do the transfer into Friday. Watch the inland microclimates here. Let's hang out on that view for a second, because as we say goodbye to the numbers and we transition this now into Friday, got better, but not good enough. So on Friday, your numbers are still pretty high. The cities come back down into the upper 60s, but for the inland microclimates, your temperatures are still hanging on to the low 90s, and a part of that is the fact that you're going to have this head start on warmth in the morning because of that blanket of clouds that will have been with us in the overnight hours that we saw coming our way around that big spinning region of high pressure out there. So let's put it in the 7-day forecast. I do have some good news on this. Thursday and Friday are pretty close, but after that it gets better. So in the 7-day forecast, there's our number for Thursday and Friday. By Saturday and Sunday, especially by Sunday, you're now back to average. 88 would be the average daytime high for inland microclimates. So you're pretty much getting back to that, and then you're going to stay there. So this big jump in temperatures for at least a few days is following the same pattern that every other little spike of heat that we've had so far this summer has done. They get in, maybe a couple days tops, and then they get out. We haven't had any prolonged serious heat waves this summer, and this is not going to be one of those either. But it will be serious enough for Thursday and Friday that you just want to be aware and go easy on yourself. I'll see you with more on this coming up in the next half hour. Ryan, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Darren. Hey.